Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. This is Chris Holman in our studios in downtown Lansing. And we have with us in the studio Scott Johnson. He is the Dean of the School of Management, U of M Flint. And Scott, it's so good to have you here. How you doing?
Just great. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Good. Well, it's tremendous, and I'm glad we got to meet. I serve on an advisory board for the Federal Reserve, and we met up on your campus.
Right, yes.
And it's pretty architecturally, it's a pretty outstanding piece of work.
Yeah, it's we're in this building that used to be, I believe, a Hyatt, and so the School of Management has the whole second floor, and then there residence halls for the tower, so right next to the river. So, yeah, we really enjoy it.
That's why I had this feeling that I should be calling room service, but nothing was happening, you know?
Yeah.
No, it is. It's tremendous. And of course, U of M going there and putting a campus there was an economic boost for the city of Flint as well.
Well, I think so. We've got about 8,000 students, and it's right downtown Flint campus, as you know. And, you know, the students really enjoy being downtown. There are more restaurants. The Capitol Theater's been renovated. The new Farmers Market has, moved across and is right downtown in the old Flint Journal building. And it's just fabulous. Yeah, there's a lot to do, a lot going on.
Well, they're doing a lot of things. And the arts are very active like they haven't been before.
Yes, right. I've been there 6 years, and, people will say, boy, 20 years ago was pretty quiet in Flint and not much going on. But there's a lot of activity, and it's exciting.
Yeah, really is. So give me a little of your background. How did you gravitate to be here?
Well, I got my Ph.D. at Michigan State in 1990. I was just thinking, wow, that's 30 years ago, I guess.
Not so long. Don't go to get into that.
Yeah. So after that, then I was at University of Louisville as a marketing professor for about 10 years, and then became a dean. And I was at Minnesota State as dean of the College of Business, and then I moved to Illinois State University before I came here. And so I've been here about 6 years as Dean of the School of Management. I really enjoy it.
Let's talk a little bit about the offerings there through your school.
Yeah, well, let's see. We have 8 different majors. So it's a, comprehensive business school. And a couple new majors. We've got supply chain management. That's a brand new major. We've got international business, accounting, marketing, finance, and so on. So we've got, a whole spectrum, and we've got 3 graduate programs, MBA, Master of Science in Accounting, and a Master of MS in Organizational Leadership. And so that's our newest program, the Organizational Leadership Program.
It's kind of interesting. That intrigues me because we don't do enough. There aren't enough curriculums that organize the teaching of leadership.
Well, it's a degree. Sometimes people go into, public affairs. They get a master's degree in public affairs or something. There are a lot of different approaches, but it's a good degree. And leadership is very important. We teach it because we think it can be taught. Some people may argue that, you can't teach it. You can't teach entrepreneurship or something. But, there is a lot to be learned when you're teaching leadership concepts or entrepreneurial concepts for that matter.
Well, I can tell you as a guy who kind of operates in that space, although I'm not real sure what space I'm in totally, but to be in that space, I could always use a little direction. And so I think it can be taught in the way of improving.
Yeah, well, we all could. And a lot of these things I think we know, but we need to be reminded of in terms of, the people that work there are really important, paying attention to customers, having a long-term approach, providing goods and services that people really want. And, those are all challenges. And I think we sometimes forget these basic lessons that we think we know or we learned at one time. So, yeah, I agree that education is vitally important.
It truly is. Tell me about enrollment. How's enrollment gone over the years?
Enrollment, we peaked in about 5 years ago, and then we've been slightly going down a little bit every year. And this is pretty true of a lot of schools in Michigan because the high school graduation rate is not the high school graduation rate, but the number of students graduating from high school continues to go down a little bit. There are some pockets of growth in Michigan, as you know. Grand Rapids area is growing and so on. So we hope this will sort of level out and start climbing back up.
Well, you got kind of a perfect storm going on. One is it's arithmetic. There are fewer butts being born than there are going out of the workforce, right?
Yes.
And the other is low unemployment.
Well, that's true. That's true. Unemployment is low, and so students, or coming out of high school, or even if they had done a couple of years at a community college, they might be lured into the job market, and good for them. If you can get a great job, but sometimes if the economy shrinks, sometimes people say when they lose a job or they don't have the opportunities, they may think about going back to school. So. We don't wish the economy to do bad things, but, sometimes that can help higher education.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was just reminded of how much I always hate to ask to an undertaker how's business. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, right.
Let's talk a little bit about the future. What have you got going on? Is there any looks at new curriculums, anything like that?
This program that I mentioned, organizational leadership, that's pretty new, and the MS in accounting, that's pretty new. We do have international programs that are really we're taking a look at. We've got quite a number of students from Taiwan. We have a strong connection with some schools in Taiwan. So we hope to develop these international programs, and we have more online activity too. And I think again that's probably something that's picking up all around the country. So we're definitely part of that, and many of our courses are online now because students want to be online. At least some students.
One of our employees just got a master's through your campus.
Okay.
As a matter of fact,
Excellent.
that's what made me most aware of it. So,
great.
Hey, we want to thank you so much for coming down to the studios. Scott Johnson, he's the Dean of the School of Management at U of M Flint. Want to thank Scott. Want to thank all of our guests today, and of course all of you for being part of the Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman. As usual, for all of us here at the Michigan Business Network, we wish you a very prosperous day.